ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another night of vaping without nicotine. So, a little update on vaping. I have a great guest tonight, very educated, smart as hell, clanking and banking, a feather beers man, and a long brother hairs too. He is one of the greatest guys I know. So before we get in, where am I with my vaping journey? Still nicotine free. It feels great to say that. I'm going on 3 months, no nicotine. That's a milestone in my life. It has no idea how long it took me to get to this point. I've been fighting with this for years. It is an addiction. This addiction is going to be fighting for a very long time with me. And I know it might take a year, 2 years, or 3 years. And I'm okay to say that. I'm okay to say, I got this. Sometimes you got to take the bitch from the hips and fuck it. And that's what I'm doing with nicotine. So, enough of me talking about that. Let's just talk about something else. Obviously, you guys seen lately, I've been posting every Friday my new journey of me losing weight because I got fat. Very simple. I got fat. So let me get my guest up here because he is the expert of fitness. He has been through his own struggles. He's been one of the greatest guys I met, and I am definitely talking about my boy Nick. Nick, what's up, buddy? Oh, hang on. I still have you muted. Let me unmute you really fast. All right, sorry about that. That's my fault. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, how's it going? Thank you very much for that.
Anytime, man. So this is your field. This is your ground today. So weight loss. So, actually, before we get into it, let's talk about you for a minute. Tell me a little bit about my audience. Don't know you like I do. So let's give a little background. Where you came from, how you got here. Maybe you wanted to share your struggles, so we can relate a little bit with you. All right, go ahead. The floor
Yeah,
is
yeah.
yours.
Hey, so my name's Nick, Nick Vidal, Upgraded Man Project. But basically, started off growing up. I was never really athletic, never really into sports. I was always sort of out of shape. I grew up chubby. I grew up fat. Got made fun of here and there. And basically, once I got to my early 20s, I started to really take fitness a little more seriously. Started to work out, started to get in better shape. And then I realized that it started to change my life. It gave me way more confidence. I started to feel better about myself. I had a better self image. And I just kept going with it. And then over the years, I've sort of gotten healthier, gotten more fitter. I also had issues at one point, digestive issues, autoimmune issues. So there were some health complications as well. So sort of health and fitness over the last several years has really completely changed my life.
So would you say fitness, working out, saved your life pretty much?
Yeah, absolutely.
So okay, so in my case, I always were in some kind of athlete, but I never got the body I wanted because diet most likely. Excuse me, would you say diet is a very most one of the most important thing? The eat most important thing. What would you rate that from? Working out and diet. Where how would you scale that?
So I would actually, if we had a pyramid, I
Mm.
would put diet is the foundation.
Okay.
Actually, the next step in that is sleep and recovery, and then exercise is sort of the little part of the top of the triangle.
So here, I'll tell you where I struggle right now at the moment is diet is number one because most of you guys know I'm a chef. So I gotta taste all my food going out. It's not if I want to, I have to. It's part of my job requirement. So how would you modify my diet to work around that? It's what I struggle to be honest with you.
Yeah, so one of the easiest ways to sort of get started without changing too much of what you're eating is to sort of focus on protein. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you focus on protein and you just try to identify where's the protein in this meal, is it fish, chicken, beef, is it eggs? If you're a vegan or plant based, is it lentils? Is it beans? Whatever the protein source is, focus on that. And then the more you focus on that, you're going to find over time, it sort of moves the other stuff out of the way. Because if you're focusing on protein, there's not too much room for all the other stuff to come in, like chips and pizza and
Okay.
things like that, because you're going to be fuller longer.
Okay. So here's the other one I always have debates about, and maybe you can clarify me a little more. Old school lifting versus CrossFit.
Yeah, they sort of both have their place.
Mm-hmm.
What I would say, there's a lot of science behind both approaches. What I would say is the thing that will work for you absolutely best is the thing you're going to be able to enjoy and the thing you're going to be able to do over the long term. So if you do like to lift and do bodybuilding, That's amazing. Some people do like the way CrossFit training is. That could be good. Calisthenics, body weight, whatever that thing is, whatever you could stick with, that's going to be the thing that gives you the biggest impact. Because if it's something you don't want to do, or you don't end up going to the gym or the CrossFit gym or whatever it is, you're
Okay.
not going to get the result.
So, do you think a gym, let's say like Powerhouse, I think is one of the best gyms in our area. Would you think that like very like in a high name brand, all equipment gym is it more important than a gym like say Platinum Fitness that is limited on equipment? Which one would you think is better versus the other one?
They're both really good. It gym really doesn't matter, because as long as you're focused on the fundamentals and the basics, that is what's most important. So
Hmm.
basically, you want to get an exercise for legs, exercise for chest, exercise for back. Those are your biggest muscle groups. And most gyms will have machines that could accommodate that, or you can do that with free weights.
Yeah. So I believe personally free weights are better than doing it with a machine because you hit the muscle a little different. Micro muscle, am I right? You're saying that, or am I wrong?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Those are the ones you want to build before you build the big ones, or am I wrong again?
100%.
Yeah. So I like the free weights personally. So with fitness, there's so many different theories. How do you decode the bullshit with the facts?
Basically, so I've been lifting for probably over the last decade.
Okay.
So a lot of mistakes have been made, a lot of trial and error, a lot of different programs and different ways to work out. What I would say is, if you keep it more simple, it's much easier to make progress. So years ago, I would do all these different types of exercises and variations and always changing things. And when you do that, it's very hard to track progress. It's very hard to get good in that one movement. Whereas in the last couple years, I've actually simplified it quite a
Mm-hmm.
bit, where I may just focus on a bench press, or I may just focus on lat pull downs, or movement, or pull ups, or dips. So nothing too crazy, but enough where you can track progress. Hey, maybe today you get 5 reps. Maybe 2 weeks from now you get the same thing for 7 reps. So it's an easier way to gauge progress that way.
So over time, I assume you get stronger and you add weights on top of that. Like say at first you're at 35 in 3 weeks. Correct. Every 3 weeks you want to go up. I assume.
Yeah, so progressive overload. Basically, let's say you had, let's say, 100 pounds on a barbell.
Mm-hmm.
You would do that until you're able to safely do it for maybe 8 to 10 reps where it's comfortable. And then once you get it where it's 10 starts to become a little too easy, then you can maybe add 5 pounds to the bar. Now you have 105 pounds, and now you can start to do the same thing. You keep lifting that until you hit about 10 reps, where 10 reps becomes easy again, and then you up the weight another 5 to 10 pounds.
Yeah. I have a author on a comment. Author is actually a local member of our community. Author is asking how can you fix weight loss with stress and anxiety? Is that part of the weight?
Um, yeah.
That's a tricky
So
one, dude. That's a tricky one.
it is. It's the
Yeah.
multifaceted question there.
So, author, I'm not laughing at your question. I'm laughing because how complicated the question is. Because you use like what, like a 2-3 part there, right, Nick?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so what I would say, breaking that down,
Mm-hmm.
actually, one is going to help the other. I suffered with a lot of anxiety myself, depression, lots of down times. And what I would say is that working out, there's going to be days that you don't want to do anything at all. But what I would say is, the more often you try to get yourself to go to a gym or even work out at home, you're going to start to put yourself in a better mood. And then over time, what's going to happen? It's the best stress relief I've ever had.
I agree.
Anytime something's bothering me, or if I'm angry about something or upset, I sort of bottle that up a little bit, and I try to take it out in the gym. So I just lift a little heavier. I take all that out. And then from an anxiety standpoint, what will happen is, over time you become more confident, because you're lifting, you're getting stronger. You may see your body change. Maybe you're losing weight. You're feeling better about yourself. And what you'll start to notice is some of that anxiety does start to go away, especially if you put yourself in an environment. At first, it could be a little intimidating if you're not used to the gym. But why I recommend that is because it could be hard to motivate ourselves when we're sort of home alone. But if we force ourselves, hey, put my sneakers on, let me drive to the gym. Oh, I'm already here. Now you're sort of in that environment, and everyone in there is sort of exercising. So then now you can start exercising as well.
So the one question I have before I get into my question, because Arthur is a local member of a community, Arthur, if you want to contact Nick on the side, he'd be more than happy to help you with stuff like that in more detail. Because I know some of these questions are a little personal. Maybe you don't want to put on air, and that's fine. I'm not putting a gun on Nick's head. You have to put it out there. But I do recommend you talking to Nick. Nick has helped me several times about advice and everything. And the biggest advice I can give you, Arthur, about food is stick out the outside aisles. Don't go in the inside aisles because that's where all the junk shit stays in. Am I wrong or right, Nick?
100%. So
I got
like one
right.
of the
Yes.
biggest yeah, one of the biggest culprits will be processed food. We always hear whole foods versus processed foods.
Correct.
There's a time and a place you could have chips and you could have candy bar, whatever here and there. But what you want to focus on mostly is whole natural food. So
Mm-hmm.
like beef, chicken, fish, eggs, fruit, nuts, seeds, rice, things like that. Because that's going to be the thing that your body digests the best. It's going to be the thing that you absorb the best. When you have sort of a packaged food, some of them you look at the back of them and there's like 15, 20
Oh God,
ingredients.
yeah.
Sometimes we can't even pronounce them. And that becomes a problem because it's too much for the body to handle. And so that's why some of that stuff could lead to weight gain and it's not the most ideal.
So my here's my issue with processed word. And I think you understand. And Arthur's a chef like myself. So what is not processed anymore? So here's okay. Think about it. The question is, you buy chicken. That is processed too. It's pumped with steroids, and I feel those steroids cause you to get fatter. To be honest with you, what's your opinion behind that?
It definitely can. So you may hear the word organic, free range, things like that. It's not 100% important. You don't have everything you eat does not have to be 100% organic. What I would say is when it comes to protein, you always want to make that as clean as possible. So ideally, yeah, if you can get grass-fed beef, go ahead. If you can get free-range chicken or organic chicken, go ahead. Because what will happen, or at the very least, make sure there's no antibiotics and things put in them because those hormones and antibiotics you're actually ingesting when you eat that meat and it can actually mess your own body up. It's almost like if you're taking the same thing that they're feeding the animals.
And I definitely understand that. Arthur also says yes. Perfect. Thank you for answering my question, Arthur. I am going to give you Nick's information off later, if that's okay with you, Nick. That is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, man.
Okay. So again, back to the process. I was saying is I always had a problem with the process stuff because you don't know what you're really putting in your body, and I think that is the biggest cause why obesity has gone so out of control. Let's be honest, is out of control at this point. Like I never seen it this bad in my lifetime. Like I knew it was always around, but I think isn't the United States one of the most obese countries right now?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So one, I think I blame one is how easy to get fast food. Definitely like Uber Eats and all this stuff now. Like I can't pick my any smartphone. It doesn't matter if it's an iPhone or not. Click click click, and next thing I know, ding dong, there's my McDonald's. I didn't do anything. Um, so that is the issue. Like, how do you eat healthy when you go out or you can? Like, good example. I know a lot of people who are single men who don't have time to cook. How do you work around that?
So this goes back to what we brought up before. You want to so basically focusing on the protein is going to help you out in a lot of different situations.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say you do go out to eat or you do order DoorDash. Basically, you don't have to order McDonald's, Wendy's, stuff like that.
Correct.
You can order from other restaurants where like one of my favorites is like halal food. The reason is it's basically rice, a little bit of salad, and seasoned chicken on top. So you'll find restaurants that will have stuff like that, and you just want to identify, hey, is there like either chicken or steak or maybe seafood or whatever it is? Identify the protein, and then maybe there's a side of rice, maybe a side of mashed potatoes, maybe a side of vegetables, maybe it's a stir fry. Anything like that is going to be way better, even if you're ordering DoorDash, Uber Eats, than it is to order McDonald's or Burger King or something like that.
See, goes to my next one now. Um, this is where I'm fascinated with this lately. So I was never a big fan of fasting diets, and because if you remember for years when we first met, was it like 15 years ago? I think when I saw Retro opened, I was
Yeah, yeah, quite
yeah, it's
a
been a while.
while.
It's been a while, dude. We're getting freaking old. Like as soon as we're gonna be walking in our arcades in the gym, like we're working out today. But back then, I remember the theory: if you don't eat, you gain weight like a car. If you put the gas in, it burns it. If you don't burn it, you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now they're saying that's not a factor anymore. Is if you skip a meal or two, it's not into the world. It's actually healthier for you now.
It is. To give clarification on this, it really comes down to the timing and doing it correctly. Because you have two. There's fasting and then there's starvation.
Of course, they're different
So let's
things.
say you, yeah, yeah, and a quick example of this is, let's say you wake up in the morning, you maybe have breakfast, but then you skip eating the rest of the day, but
Mm-hmm.
then you have dinner. That's not really a full fast. That's more so starvation because food has already come in, calories already came in, and then you're going for a long period, but then you're eating again. Where fasting, a good example would be, let's say I just finished dinner at like 7:30 tonight. I'm not eating anything else for the rest of the night, so I'm going to go to sleep, and we sleep 7 or 8 hours, and then wake up in the morning, and instead of like going and eating something right away, I'll sip on like some black coffee, some water, and I may not eat till maybe 10 a.m., 11 a.m., something like that. And now what you're doing is you have a long period of maybe 12, 14 hours where there's no food actually coming in. And a good metaphor for this is like just like gas in your car. So if we're constantly filling the tank and then we wake up the next day and we keep filling the tank, it will overflow. And when it overflows in the body, it turns to fat and gets stored away. Whereas if we sort of run down the tank a little bit, what you'll find is you're able to eat sort of what you want to eat by just sort of pushing breakfast back a little bit.
So what I've been doing, and when you talked about this, and it's been working really well for me actually, is I'll eat my breakfast, I hit the gym, I come back, I had a protein and an oatmeal, walk my dog, go to work, be on my feet for 12 to 15 hours. Around, I have my lunch around 2:30, whatever I have, and at 6 because I can't have a full meal for dinner, I have a protein bar, and then I fast from that straight through the next day, usually between 5 or 6, it depends on the day, maybe 7 sometimes. I'll fast
Yeah.
those hours, and it's been working for me great so far. But how long is that gonna last? Hopefully, I don't have to worry about this ever again. This is a good system, but I feel the body's gonna adapt eventually. Or am I wrong on that?
It will. So if it's if intermittent fasting is the term for it, if it's something you're looking to do, basically there's a trick I've done over the last couple of years, and it's actually make it. I've been fasting myself personally for like
Mm-hmm.
the last 4 years. And the trick is you have maybe one day out of the week where you don't do any fasting. You sort of eat bigger meals, and what that does is you get all the benefits of fasting, but then you sort of boost your metabolism again because your body's used to fasting, fasting, fasting. And then all of a sudden you have this one day out of the week where you have a little more food, and now your metabolism has to increase because of that. And that way you could sort of do that week to week. And it's also more beneficial because fasting can be hard for some people, especially getting started. And what that does is allows you to sort not like a cheat day,
Mm-hmm.
um, because you don't want to eat a bunch of junk that'll undo your progress, but more so a day that you don't have to worry so much about what you're eating, just sort of have what you want that day.
So that's funny you said this the way you did because I explained to you why. So the holidays has passed. So from Christmas to New Year's, that week was really it wasn't that the best diet day. I was eating like a little shitty. Like I had a cookie here, I had a little Mountain Dew here, and that. And when I went back to the gym, like I probably gained like a pound or two, maybe 3, 5 pushing. I'm thinking in my point, I lost 1 pound. I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, this doesn't make no goddamn sense. So that explains it because I was, fasting the whole time, like a good month or two, and then I jumped, I went off track. So my body went up and down like that. So it probably adapted it. Or am I wrong?
Yeah, yeah, that could definitely play into that, 100%.
So it's a process that I will say it the body always evolves and we always have to learn new techniques and stuff like that. It's fascinating to me how something works. And that's the other part. I always struggle in my mind is say, what is a good diet? I'm at the point in my life like everything you can eat in minority. Like you still can have your pizza, you can still have your fried chicken, you still can have this and that, but in very small portions. Like I don't believe in cheat days. I believe in cheat meals. Like one cheat meal a
Yeah,
week is better than a cheat day because you lose all your progress in
100.
one day versus one meal. Or am I wrong?
100%.
Yeah.
So here's a quick trick that you guys can use.
Okay, go for it.
So instead of counting calories, I don't like to track calorie because then you're like constantly tracking everything you're having every day. It's good to do it for a couple days just to get an idea, but you can use your hands instead. So basically, as a guy, your palm is a serving of protein. You can have two of those at each meal. And so that's chicken, that's beef, that's fish, that's eggs. And when it comes to carbs, it doesn't mean you have to go carb free, but maybe if it's rice or potatoes, you do it sort of in a cupped hand. And if you do that, no matter how many meals you're having, what that will do is it will sort of keep you within your maintenance calories, and it may also help you to lose weight as well. So it's a trick that you can use no matter where you go. If you're going to a restaurant, if you're eating out at someone's house, that way you could sort of use the hand portion method to help you out.
Yeah, I always believe your food shouldn't be more than your fist. That's what the old school method. Or believe it was 3 to 4 ounces of protein. Usually is the rule of thumb. 2 to 3 ounces of starch. Veggies 4 to 5 is fine because you can go a little higher on that because they're not in fat. Now, how do you feel about like beans, like baked beans? Like not like I mean, I'm not talking about like those baked beans you get at a store. You make your own ones from home. Like we Greek ones have like one like a jumbo baked bean. It's like baked in tomato sauce stuff like that. Do you think they're higher in protein still, and that don't count as a protein? That's the stuff like stuff it confuses me even as a chef.
Yeah, no, beans are good. They're a mix of both, so they're high in carbs and high in protein. But a lot of the carbs are from fiber, so really good for digestion. But definitely they, especially lentils. Lentils are pretty high in protein.
Hmm.
So they can be considered a protein source that has a lot of fiber.
Now, here's the one I struggle is time management. It's like you only have so much time in the gym. What's your advice?
So what you can do with that, well, definitely if you schedule, if you let's start here. If you plan ahead, that's how you're going to avoid failure. So if we're just winging it day by day, we'll end up missing the gym. We'll end up missing a bunch of stuff. Now, what you want to do, especially when it comes to health and fitness, if the gym is something you're looking to get involved with, you want to almost put that on your calendar or make believe it's an appointment. It's an appointment with yourself, whether it's 20 minutes, whether it's a half hour, it doesn't have to be an hour or two. And just know, hey, Wednesday at whatever, before work or after work, I'm going to the gym. And sort of mark that in the calendar and hold yourself accountable. And if you do that maybe once a week, twice a week, you'll start to get into the habit of doing that. And your workouts don't need to be super long. Getting to the gym for 10 or 15 minutes is better than not getting to the gym at all. So keep that in mind.
I never thought of that. So my issue is like it's I with between my taking my mom to chemo, working 12 to 18 hour shifts sometimes. I don't get enough sleep. That's my like. I know that's partially my fault too, but between the channel and everything, it's only so much time in a day. So how do I balance it better going to the gym? Is it like is it 4 days good, 3 days good, 2 days? What you what how if you had to put me on a program, how would you recommend it?
So depending on your actual schedule, what I found in my experience with clients, with myself, is less is more. So you don't need to go to the gym 5 6 days a week. You can actually, if you go to the gym 2 to 3 times a week, that's really enough to see a lot of progress. And now the trick here is sometimes you'll see videos and magazines and stuff. Oh, Monday is chest day. Tuesday is back day. That's great if you're a competitive athlete, you're a big bodybuilder. Some of these guys are taking extra stuff. That's okay for them. But regular guys like you and me, we want to be able to sort of work the whole body. So like a couple of sets for legs, couple sets for chest, couple sets for back. And then what I personally do is take an entire day the next day to rest. So no working out the next day. So it's basically 1 day on, 1 day off, 1 day on, 1 day off. And that's really effective. So that way you can get like 2 to 3 workouts full body each week, and you're going to see way more progress that way than you would trying to do it any other way.
I actually like that. I never thought of that. That's like only doing 3 days a week is more practical than going to the gym 4 to 5 days a week. To be honest, because like Wednesdays, there's no go. That's chemo day for my mom. I am going to the doctor's in the morning, and I just got home maybe half hour ago. Actually, a little more than an hour ago. So that's go 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 go. Plus whatever I have to do my personal stuff like errands and stuff like that. So Wednesdays are a horrible day. Um, now, by that said, that works out. So could you do Monday on, Tuesday on, Wednesday off, and then maybe Thursday, then Friday, Saturday, Sunday off if you wanted to?
Yeah, if you're going to the gym and you work out 2 consecutive days, like Monday and then Tuesday, you don't wanna hit the same body parts back to back. So, if you are gonna do 2 days back to back, I would suggest maybe 1 day is an upper body and 1 day is a lower body. That works. Another thing that works for a lot of people is push pull. So basically, anything like your chest press, triceps, leg extensions, that's all push. And pull would be like lat pull downs, rows, bicep curls, hamstring curls. That would be all pull. So that works really well too.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't do like if you're going to do a full body workout, I wouldn't do that Monday and then go to the gym the next day and do that again because it's you need your muscles need time to recover, because when you're working out, you're tearing them down, you're sort of breaking them down, and you need a lot of time for them to fully recover and heal, and then that way you get 100% out of every time you go to the gym.
Yeah, yeah. So before we move on, I want to address one of the comments. Is Stacy? Hey, Stacy. First of all, that's good to hear. Just 2 3 days a week. In her schedule, I know her personally. She works an insane schedule. She's there. She works from 7 to 7. That's a long shift, and she's on her feet. So her going to the gym 5 days a week or 4 days is literally not even a question. It's because it's hard. Like between everything else you have to do, and that's where I feel a lot of people fail in their goals because they don't have enough time in the day to go to the gym. Because between being a son, a husband, a father, or whatever the case you have going on at home, and working on top of a 8 hour plus shift, like I told you, I work with long hours. Where am I gonna find a goddamn time? Sheesh.
Yeah. Yeah, we could almost put too much burden on ourselves by saying, "Oh, we got to get there 5, 6 days a week," and that could affect us mentally as well. Because let's say hey, I got to get to the gym 5, 6 days a week, and now this week you were busy, and maybe you only got there 1 day.
Mm-hmm.
What then happens is now we start to feel bad about ourselves, or shame, or guilt. Oh, wow, I didn't get to the gym. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to. Whereas if you make it simpler and you do these full body workouts, let's say you get to the gym, you did one workout this week, but you didn't get there any other day. You still worked out your entire body. So that's a win.
So here's the one I always I love when I hear this. It's gonna piss me off when I hear it, and you're gonna piss you off too a little bit. I think. You telling people like you're working with a trainer and they say, you know what, you're already putting yourself behind the 8 ball because you're not watching the diet, yada yada. Yada. But I'm on my feet. I do like 25,000 steps a day. Like I think me working that many and eating like the way I do, like we talked about, is going to kind of balance out. Now, with my lifestyle, my workout, let's say I want to lose, I want to be ripped by the summer. Is that even a possibility? Reality?
100%. So between practicing a little bit of fasting, there is the calories in, calories out is important. You don't just want to go overboard and eat anything in sight, because extra calories you will start to gain fat. But you also at the same time don't need to track every single thing you're having all the time. And just for personal reasons, that's why I do like fasting, just because hey, if you're going out to dinner or you're going to order DoorDash or whatever, all you do is you just eat a little lighter that day, and then you have your heavy meal, and that way you're never going to go overboard. So it's really effective, especially if you go out to eat.
I gotta try that because I like the idea. I also has another comment for us. Back in the day, I told, I think it means dad, the mixed my body workouts, worked big time, then lost lost the gym schedule because of personal stuff, but that did. Damn it, lost this comment. Give me 1 second. Go back to it. Da, da, da. They work out cardio and machines and back and phone for 2 hours, and if you're good, twice a week. A great schedule. What do you think about that?
Yeah, yeah. As long as you're getting in there and you're getting something done, something is always going to be more important. And then you have like a gym like Planet Fitness. They even have like these. They're called circuit rooms,
I seen
but
those. Yeah.
basically yeah, a bunch of different machines, and basically what you would do, you just go in there and you get on one machine, do a set or so, go to the next machine, and you maybe do 1 or 2 laps, and you're done with your entire workout.
It's like supersetting almost, right?
Yeah, pretty much because you're covering all the different body parts, and that way your workout you could get the whole thing done in like 20 minutes, 25 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're done. You're done for the day.
I think to be 100% honest with you, I feel like you just have to experiment and see what works for you. And like something like that sounds like work more from my type of lifestyle and schedule. And you, whoever it is, it doesn't matter. It's me, you, or anybody. We just have to find what works for us and stick to it. Like I love martial arts. I have made that perfectly clear. I'm a martial artist. I love putting the gloves on. I love putting the gi on, getting on the mat. To me, that's the best way I lost weight. But I can't get to the dojo because I work those hours. The classes are available. So I gotta find a different outlet. So my outlet is lifting. Like I was reading what's called Arnold's Modern Bodybuilding Encyclopedia, and some of his workouts are great. But some of them say you have to go twice a day to the gym in 7 days a week. And like, who's gonna find time to go to the gym twice a week?
Yeah, it all comes down to personal goals, and the thing is, a lot of those types of programs are geared towards like professional bodybuilding. I'm not a professional bodybuilder. I'm sure you guys are not professional
You're
bodybuilders.
not? I didn't know
So
that.
yeah, we just want regular results. We want to have a little more muscle. We want to have a little less fat. We just want to feel good in our clothes. And if that's what you're going after, you don't need all these crazy workouts and these programs, and you don't need to live at the gym. You can actually simplify the whole process.
The one thing that doesn't know me at the gym, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if you've seen those. I call them text bros. You know what I'm talking about? The guy who's on the phone texting the whole time or scrolling for his phone. Do 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 do. I'm like, dude, you done with the machine? No, I'm on it. Okay, go back to work on another machine. Still on the same machine. Okay, go back to something else. Come back. I'm like, son of a bitch, still on the fucking same
Th-
machine. I'm gonna go kick his ass soon. And like, and it's all the whole time. He goes one set. Oh, my other one is like the girls are famous for this. They're at the gym. They're not really lifting. They're just socializing. And there are some girls who actually put the time and effort to work. And some are like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, seriously? And I'm like you see what you know what I'm talking about. I'm not saying everybody
yeah,
does that, but it is a good percentage of just like there to hang out, and that's great for you. But get out of my fucking way. I'm using the machine.
yeah,
um,
pretty much.
yeah. So here's the one I see. I feel it works a little better for me at least. I can't speak for everybody. Um, running versus walking on a treadmill. So the floor is yours.
Yeah. If you like to run, go ahead.
I fucking hate
That
running.
can help. But yeah, so do I. So actually, when it comes down to that, walking is a way more effective strategy for fat loss because over it basically the slower movement is actually going to help you burn fat. What happens is when you're running, especially when you try to run fast, all you're using is sort of the excess carbohydrates that you've consumed.
Mm-hmm.
So you could sort of run on the treadmill and you're just sort of burning through things, but walking is way more doable. I don't like running. I personally hate it. But if you try to just hit your steps every day, if you could aim for 5,000, 10,000 steps a day, that alone is important. And ways you could do that too. Let's say you're out and about. It doesn't always have to be at the treadmill in the gym. Let's say you go to the grocery store. What I do is I park my car at the other end of the parking lot, so not right by the door, the furthest away from the door, and that way I'm forced to have to get extra walking in. So little tricks like that throughout your day are all ways you can increase movement.
See, Here's my trick behind that. All right, I don't do it because of that reason. I have a new car, so I park far away, so nobody, throw their cart in my car and dent my car and I kick their asses. Running me is had a hate love relationship. One is because I have a bad knee, and me and you have talked about this before. So running is not my thing. Two is so fucking boring on that goddamn treadmill. God damn, I hate running. Well, but give me a sport. Give me like rack and ball. Some of the guys from the channel who have been following me knows I've been talking about my buddy CQ. He used to be a really good racquetball player. We used to play at the Army Depot all the time. I can do that any day of the week. Let's say that you want to throw the football round. I'm yours. I'm probably gonna drop the ball a lot, but I'm having fun. When I don't think about it, it's great. So my little trick, again, this is for a trick for everybody. I think you're gonna like this one, Nick. So I put my phone up, I put a movie on, and I zone into the movie or a show. If the show is, I'm on it for at least 40 to 45 minutes. I think that's a good time. Now, that's the next question I'm going to go to. But before I get to my question, and I just watch it and zone out. When that show or movie's over at 45 minutes, I'm done for the day for cardio. So the question I do have for you now, people say 20 minutes versus 45 minutes. Which one you go for? Which one you're at?
So if it's just walking, longer is a little bit better, but if you are pressed on time, you can actually get a better result by keeping it shorter. But the trick here is, it's basically called high intensity training. And to make that simple, is let's say we're on a treadmill or a stair climber,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I do this personally. I'll only get on for maybe 10 minutes, but those 10 minutes, it's important how you structure it. So basically, I'm not just keeping a slow pace the whole 10 minutes. I'll get on and I'll try to like walk really fast for like 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Then I slow it back down. And I do that for like 30 seconds to a minute. Then I pick it back up for 30 seconds, like pretty fast pace. And then I lower it back down. And what that's doing, it's a way that can definitely help you burn fat faster. And it's sort of help boosting your metabolism, and that way you can condense the amount of time you're doing cardio
Okay.
and actually get better bang for your buck.
So so in other words, what I was told again, please correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I'm asking a lot of questions for everybody, including myself. I'm picking your brain a little bit at the same time. So isn't it on your heart rate too? So when you run, your heart rate jacks up, and then when you lower it, and that's what helps you lose calories, lose weight. I guess I want to say. Or am I wrong here?
So basically what it's doing, it's sort of increasing your metabolism. So it's increasing the amount of calories you're burning in that time.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you just let's say we get on, let's just say we get on both machines for a half hour. One of us is just going slow the whole time. We only may burn a couple of calories, where the other one is doing like fast, slow, fast, slow, fast, slow. The person that's doing fast, slow is can almost burn double the amount of calories that way, even though it's the same exact amount of time.
See, yeah. Now, before I get into, I want to read a comment from Stacy. It says, "Get on a stepmaster." I think she's trying to be a smart ass on me because of my knee. So yeah. Now let's talk about different card machines. For example, like okay, let's talk about stepmaster versus treadmill versus elliptical. What you got there for me?
Yeah. What I would say, treadmill is at the bottom of the list. It's the most common, but I
Really?
put it at the bottom of the list just because I injured my knee a couple months ago, and what happens on a treadmill, especially if you have knee issues, hip issues,
It's heavy on your feet, right?
ankle issues, yeah, it's really hard on your knees, ankles, and hips. Whereas if you have a different movement, one of the best is the elliptical, because you're able to sort of move your body as you're moving. So it's working your arms, working
Mm-hmm.
your legs, working a little bit of everything, keeps everything loose. And then if you want to focus mostly on legs, then the stair climber is definitely the best. And
Fuck
you'll
that.
find that, yeah, this the stair climber is pretty difficult. It'll take it out of you.
Here's another one that I think is a good machine, but not a lot of gyms have it. The Jacob ladder. Have you ever used that one?
Oh yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
is a
It's a pretty
kick-ass
cool.
machine. It's cool. Like not a lot of people can do 45 minutes on that machine. Is if I remember correctly, a firefighter came up with the design. That's what I heard at least. I'm not sure.
I believe so. Yeah, they're not that common to see in gyms, but when you do come across them, it's sort of the bars on the ladder. It
Yeah.
just keeps moving like it's on a treadmill, and you just keep climbing and
You know,
climbing.
like a little hamster almost. You know, it's cool. I used it once. I was a local gym in my Pocono that they're not even there anymore. That worked great. As I was leaving Powerhouse, like they were just installing it there. I'm like shit. So you lose something, you win some hours. That's one I lost. That would be a great cardio machine to lose weight. But again, you cannot be on that too long because you're gonna feel it really fast because you're out of breath in like in what 30 minutes if you're lucky.
Yeah, if you last that long.
Yeah. So man, dude, I got so many to pick your brain. We got so much. And like we gotta get you back on here, dude. We gotta get you here. I think we gotta get you on a full time basis here. I think you have to be the channel's personal trainer, advice guy. What do you think?
100%. Yeah. If you guys have specific questions, you can sort of leave them in the comments, and then we can actually start speaking on specific topics if that's what you guys want.
Yeah, definitely. Nick. So before I don't want to waste too much of your time. Do you have anything else you want to talk about before we have your put your credentials in?
No, but basically just to sort of sum things up to keep. I know we talked about a lot of different things. But here's a quick way to sum it up to make it more simple for you. Basically, you want to just focus mostly on protein. So as long as you're going through your day, where's the protein? Make sure the protein's on the plate first, and then everything else will figure itself
Mm-hmm.
out. When it comes to workouts, less is more. So if you can get to the gym 2 to 3 times a week and do full body exercises, like a little for legs, little for chest, little for back, little for arms, that's going to be more effective than you going 5 or 6 days a week. And then also make sure you sort of schedule that. Make sure you make an appointment to go to the gym, or if you're going to work out at home, say, hey, at 2 p.m. or 7 p.m. I'm gonna be doing this 10 or 15 minute workout at home. And that way it'll be able to hold you a little more accountable, and that way you're gonna be able to get better results that way.
Now you just came out with a couple of questions I actually have. I want to add it to this. Like another question number one, I want to ask you also is when you're trying to design your own workout, or like a full body, how many exercises should you be doing for chest versus biceps, triceps? Because you're doing whole body, do you do two of each or just do one and move on?
So I would suggest 3 to 5 sets of so basically what you the easiest way to do this is you pick one exercise for legs, whether that's squat, whether it's lunges, whether it's a leg press machine,
Mm-hmm.
and you do 3 to 5 sets of that. Then you move to chest or back. Let's say it's chest, maybe dumbbell presses or barbell press. Any of that stuff's good. If you like to do dips or push ups, that could be effective too. You do 3 to 5 sets of that, and then you just move to back. That could be a row machine, that could be a lat pull down. There's a couple different back machines in gyms, but those are probably your top two.
Okay.
And then, so basically, if you just did those, that's enough to cover because your arms are getting worked out as you're working your chest, as you're working your back. And if you wanted to at the end, you can add a little bit of abs, you can add a little bit of arms. But the basis is always one exercise for legs, one exercise for chest, one exercise for back, and just 3 to 5 sets of each. That's a complete full body workout. And then whatever you want to add to that, go ahead.
Okay. So the other question I have for you, this is one that I'm treading in very dangerous waters. Point. The supplement. There's so many different supplements from CLA to BAC, different proteins, different this, different that. I know there's no magic pill. I am at least I can reality say to you, man to man, and as a trainer to a fat guy, it's no magic pill. We all know that. How do you decode the bullshit with the true shit?
Yeah, there's a lot of bullshit out there,
No
and
shit.
to preface, yeah, to preface this, so between personal experience, between being a personal trainer and also certified in functional medicine and functional nutrition, I've learned quite a bit about different things in the body. What I would say is most of the stuff out there is complete bullshit. When it comes to supplements, you don't need all these crazy things you find at GNC or Vitamin Shop. Protein's good if you're on the go. Otherwise, try to get it from whole food. but a protein shake, that could be an okay supplement. Like if you're going to work and you want to have a meal while you're driving or whatever, or you just got back from the gym, you need something quick. There's a time and place for that. As for the other stuff, you don't really need a lot of that. What I would say, vitamins do become very important. So when it comes to supplements, those are your most important. And the most important ones for most people across the board are vitamin D and magnesium. Now, the reason is they're very hard to find in food, especially magnesium. Magnesium is basically the anti-stress mineral. So if you deal with stress, if you deal with anxiety, if you deal with insomnia, if you deal with muscle cramps, any of that stuff is usually because there's not enough magnesium. So having a simple magnesium supplement could help you get better sleep at night. Could help ease stress and anxiety. It just puts you in a more relaxed frame of mind. And the other one is vitamin D. Especially, we live in the Northeast. We don't get clearly enough sun. So basically, a lot of people are deficient in vitamin D. And why vitamin D is so important? It's called the master hormone of the body. So it's going to help your immune system. It's going to help the way your body makes hormones. It's going to help your mood. There's so many things that vitamin D does in the body. You can get it from food. I do like to I personally eat sardines and fish and stuff like that that will have high amounts. Same thing like if you have raw milk, you'll have natural vitamin D and vitamin A. But for most of us, we could just get a supplement of vitamin D3. And you could take a little bit of that, especially during the winter months. Maybe in the summer you can get vitamin D through the sun, but during the winter months we don't get enough. And those two small little additions can make a huge difference for a lot of people across the board.
Now let me ask this question, Nick. And this is a debate I've been having with a lot of people. Do you feel like after your workout, not the same day, obviously, I'm talking about the next day, the recovery time, you should need to be sore?
Um, you you don't have to always be sore, but it is a good rule of thumb. Like let's say you're working out a couple times a week, and now a couple of weeks have passed. If you haven't really felt sore, you're probably not working out hard enough. But it's not something where you need to get so sore that you can't function. You want to feel basically if you work out today, you may not feel sore today, but maybe tomorrow or the day after, you should have a little bit of soreness in the muscles that you work, and that's how you know you're sort of working them correctly. But what I would say, let's say you wake up tomorrow and you're actually really sore, you're a little too sore. You don't want to go to the gym and try to work out again while you're really sore. So I would give it an extra day of rest. Because when you're really sore, what that means is your muscles are trying to heal themselves at that point. And if you try to work out during that time again, you're only going to delay the amount of time it takes for them to recover.
Okay, because I know with me personally, like soldiers, I never feel it, but I'm also scared of pushing so hard because I have all injuries. I don't want to act them up or irritate them, so I try to get in the middle ground with that. But like chest, I've been trying to work on form lately. So arch your back, pinch your shoulders, pop the chest up. And when trying to get focused and stuff, you might have to drop the weight down a little bit. Or am I wrong?
Yeah, yeah. So form is always going to be most important over anything else. And the second most important is you want to try to feel the muscle. It's hard for a lot of people, but basically when you're doing the exercise, sometimes let's say you're at a gym like Planet Fitness or Retro or whatever, you'll see on the side of the machine they'll sort of highlight
I
what
seen that.
area
Yep.
of the what area of the muscles being worked. And so when you're on that machine or you're doing that, you just try to sort of focus. Okay, that's where I should be feeling it. Do I feel it there or not? Um, those two things are most important. So form, definitely, you always want to have perfect form before you try adding more weight
Mm.
because you can definitely get injured really fast. And if you get injured, then you can't go to the gym, you can't work out. It's gonna throw off your progress. But definitely form first, and then second, try to. It's called the mind muscle connection. But you try to almost visualize like, okay, I'm working my chest. Do I feel it in my chest? Can I squeeze my chest? Um, and that's gonna help out quite a bit.
See, for me, I feel like, and I know I'm not the only one, but I feel like I am the only one sometimes. I overthink shit. You know me by now. So when I'm doing a workout, like feel like man, I feel like an idiot. What am I doing? I'm not doing this right. Whatever. What kind of advice would you give somebody like that? Like I know I'm overthinking it, but what kind of advice you would give somebody like that?
Well, yeah, you don't wanna overthink things too much, but if you do
Have you met
feel
me?
it you're not Yeah, if you do feel you're not doing something right, you could always, if someone else is doing a similar exercise, you could always ask them in the gym, say, "Hey, could you just maybe help check form real quick? And I feel it's this way." That's really effective. Or you could sort of watch videos on like exercise tutorial videos. There's tons of them online. And some of them will give cues as to sort of what you're feeling or what you should be feeling. But that could definitely help as well.
I agree. So as a personal trainer, and this is a great line. I feel also is now. Would you which one you think it's? How can I word this? Personal trainer in person or personal trainer online?
So definitely online, 100%, and
Really?
there's a
You like
reason for that. Yeah.
really? I'm
So
surprised you said
time and a
that.
place. Yeah. Um, from my experience, I've been both. Um, in person, I've trained over 100 people in the gym, and then online, probably very close to the same. What I would say, there's a time and a place for both. If you are brand new to the gym, if you're brand new to exercise, you certainly want a personal trainer, because what a personal trainer in the gym is going to help with most is your form, is doing the exercise correctly. Maybe you don't know how much weight you should put on the bar. That's where a personal trainer is going to help. They have a lot of experience. And also, for a lot of people, it holds them accountable. Some people don't want to go to the gym on their own. So, if you need that accountability and you sign up with a personal trainer, you know you're at least going to see them once a week or twice a week, whatever it is. And now you have to get to the gym because now you have an actual appointment. So that's where in-person personal training comes, where it's most effective. Now, why I said online training or coaching becomes way more effective is because now you don't just have someone there counting reps for you. It's good getting started, but we know that most of our results are going to come through what we're doing outside the gym. So there's 168 hours in a week, and let's say we go to the gym twice a week, and they're an hour apiece. That's 2 hours.
Hmm.
The past 6 hours, that's gonna dictate our results. That comes to nutrition, that comes to sleep, that comes to hydration, that comes to stress management, that comes to all these other things that a personal trainer will not be able to cover, because they literally don't have the time and the resources to do that. Whereas online, you can basically have a program and you can work through your nutrition. You could track calories if you want. You can have exercises and workouts, and you could do all of that, and then basically now you're checking in maybe one time a week to see, hey, these are the things I tried this week. Are you getting closer to the goal, or are we getting further away? And if we're not getting closer to the goal, then what's getting in the way? And how do we maybe make this next week a little more easy?
So here's the question I got for you with this the personal trainer thing. How do you decode, in a better way I can say it, a real personal trainer like yourself who has gone to schooling, have educated himself, has put time and effort, versus a guy who got his degree like in an hour online and he's full of shit. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He just want to take your money.
It can be hard to decipher a little. What I would say, the easiest way to decipher, the person you choose to work with, do they have the results that you're looking for? And it's not to sort of judge people, because everyone's starting their health journey and their fitness journey at their own point. But basically, you don't want to go to a car mechanic in which his car is broken down. Same way you don't want to go to a personal trainer that's sort of overweight, because if they were really practicing what they're learning, they wouldn't be overweight, because they would have gotten in shape already.
Mm-hmm. So the last question I got for you also. Not lately, the new trend is personal training studios have been popping out everywhere. What's your feedback on that?
Could be really, really effective. Especially that smaller environment. For some people, the gym could be overwhelming sometimes. You have a lot, especially in a bigger commercial gym, hundreds and hundreds of people at a time, especially right after work, is real busy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why those studios can be really effective. Maybe there's only 2 or 3 people in there working out at a time. It's a little more private. It's a little more intimate. And then also, it's for some people, it's better for the coach and better for the person working with them, They could track things easier. They could give you more one-on-one attention. There's less distractions.
I agree. I agree. They can go either way. They can get expensive too. Those for one-on-one studios too. There's some that
Oh,
are arm and leg. So Nick, we're gonna plug your information. So if people are looking for some advice, some training, where can we find you guys?
yeah. So if we're on Instagram or YouTube, it'll be Upgraded Man Project. So the word upgraded man project. If you are on Facebook, it's Nicholas Vidal. And that's probably more preferable, especially if you have a message or there's a question you want to
Mm-hmm.
ask. You could just shoot me a message on Facebook Messenger, and I'll be able to get right back to you.
Yeah, and I will vouch for Nick about getting back to you. He's really good. Like in the next few hours to get back to me. I think I texted you sometime yesterday morning, and you got back to me in mid afternoon. And I texted you this morning, you got back to me like in an hour or two. So he's really getting back to you guys. So if you guys really looking for a good trainer, good personal trainer, and you don't want to break the bank, Nick's your guy. He's legit. He's a real guy. He's like, I'm not gonna bring any bullshit motherfucker on my channel. I bring a guy who knows what the fuck he's talking about because he knows his shit. Do I say more? Or am I
Yeah.
good?
Yeah, good. What I will say is, for anyone that's watching this currently, whether live or the replay, if you do want to message or speak to me, say grooming and reviews, and what I can help you with is I can give you sort of a free custom quick start guide to help get you started. So we look at your weight, look at your height, look at how many times you plan on going to the gym, and then from there it'll give you an idea of about how many calories. We'll have some recipe suggestions in there. It's a really cool, in-depth guide. So if you do want that, just message me grooming and reviews so I know that you watch this video, and I can help you out with that.
Sweet. So we can call it for tonight. Nick, do me here a stick back on a back chat. I want to speak to you on something in private. So, guys, anything else? Reach out for Nick. He's a great guy, great trainer, knows his information great. Except that I will see you guys on Saturday. This Saturday is Hangout, excuse me, Operation Hangout. We are talking about the history of video games. And if you guys know me, I am a gamer, like a hardcore gamer too. I'm like hardcore. I'm not saying I spend all my time. I actually do have a job. I do have do things, and I gotta talk to the missus once in a while. But except that, guys, I will see you guys soon. And like always,